Alright, here we go. Week 11 of the lockdown. Here we are in virus-free Colorado, because, if we don't go to school or work, that means everyone's safe. It's kind of silly. And I'm broadcasting again from a secret location somewhere in the Front Range of Colorado, known only to me, so that the virus can't find me. We're in a little Five-Finger Death Punch in the background. I know you all miss Five-Finger Death Punch Friday, but today you get it, so enjoy. I know that probably after the music stops, you shut off the video and don't watch the rest of the lecture. That works for me, because you can't beat Five-Finger Death Punch. Alright, here we go now. This week 11, we're essentially covering 2 chapters. A lot of material. I put out there on the content section of D2L 4 separate PowerPoints. Okay, 2 that are companion PowerPoints with the book, and 2 that are personally made PowerPoints. Go over those. They're going to really give you the highlights. The 2 chapters we're talking about are chapters on robbery and chapters on burglary. So I'm not really going to go into a bunch of depth in this video on either one of these. I'm going to give you a brief overview. I expect you to go out and look at those PowerPoints. Just by reading through, especially the ones that are personally made, there's going to be some photographs related to it, stuff I would have shown in class that I've obviously not going to include here. So I really encourage you to get the full measure of this, to look at those videos, so that or those PowerPoints, so you can see those pictures. Most of them on the personally made PowerPoints are real crime scene photos. So you're going to see some of the things we're looking for in reference to robberies and burglaries. Now, to start with this, most people interchange the term robbery and burglary. A lot of people believe they're the same crime. They are not. Robbery is a crime against persons. Burglary is a crime against property. The definition of a robbery, or the elements of a robbery, if you're looking at it from the criminal investigation point, is that it's the taking of property of another through force and intimidation. It's classified usually in one of 4 ways. Residential robberies, otherwise known as home invasions. Business robberies, like bank robberies. Robberies of a convenience store. We always jokingly called them stop and robs, because they're open all night and no one else is around, and they have money, cigarettes, and lottery tickets, and now booze. Okay. Carjackings, which is just a form of robbery, stealing your car by force or intimidation. And then individual robbery, okay, street robbery. These are where someone, in some places call it mugging, where you're walking down an alley or a street and someone points a gun or a knife or threatens you with other intimidation or violence and says, "Give me your purse, give me your wallet." One of the things that happens a lot in big cities to women, if they're carrying their purses loosely, is someone just rides by on a bicycle, grabs the purse, and takes off with it. That's a form of robbery, a street robbery. Okay? Now, people call it purse snatching, which is another nickname for it, but it is just another form of robbery. They took your property by force or intimidation. That's robbery. any one of those other subcategories that it falls under still is robbery. Okay? How do you respond to a robbery as an investigator? Well, you hope that the first officers on scene do all those things that they're supposed to do in a normal crime scene. Okay? They need to secure the scene. They need to identify witnesses. They need to separate witnesses. They need to make sure that the victim is fine. Do they need medical attention? If not, they need to isolate the victim. As an investigator, when you get there, you need to process the scene like you would any other criminal investigative scene of a crimes against a person. What evidence is left at the scene? What evidence can you find, maybe even on the victim? You need to do good interviews with the victim. All of those normal steps that we would take, that we've covered in prior crimes against persons, crime scenes, is the way you still deal with these robberies. Because it's a crime against person, it's a higher level felony than a crimes against property. Anytime we have a person that's been victimized directly by the offender, that raises the crime in the eyes of the people that wrote the laws and in the eyes of the criminal justice system. So it also raises your response and your investigation based on you having a victim that was physically victimized by the offender. When we start talking about burglary, burglary is a crimes against property. It's really categorized. Well, let me give you what the elements are. Entering or remaining upon a premise without permission and committing a crime while inside, while therein, I think is the way Colorado puts it. So let's break that down. It's going in somewhere you're not supposed to be, and you commit a crime inside. Now, usually the crime is a theft, but it could be something else. It could be an arson. It could be criminal mischief. The burglary has to be both parts. The entering or remaining at the premise, and then the other crime therein. If it's just one or the other, it's either a trespass, which is the first part, entering or remaining, or it's the other crime they committed. You have to have both, a trespass plus another crime. That makes burglary. Okay, I hope that's clear. When it says entering or remaining, it might be you kick the window in and you go in and do a theft. It might be that you pry the back door, go in and do the theft. It might be that you hide out in the bathroom or in the fitting room or under a table or in a rack of clothing, and then when everybody leaves and locks the door for the night, you come out and commit your crime. Any of those are going to be an example of a burglary. You can do burglaries at residential, is one classification, or you can do it at a business. Most residential burglaries are done during the daytime because that's when the people are gone. Understand that burglars do not want to do their crime when the homeowner or the business people are present. They want to commit a crime against property. They don't want to do a robbery. They want to do a burglary. So, these are the people that knock on the door during the day to make sure no one's at home. No one answers. They go around the back door. They kick it in. They break it in. They climb in a window. They open through the sliding glass door. Somehow enter the house and then do their crime inside. Usually a theft. Business burglaries are usually done when the business is closed. Again, they don't want to be confronted. So these are going to be nighttime things. If the business has normal business hours, or it's a retail outlet and it closes at 9, you're going to find burglaries for those businesses being done overnight, after 9 o'clock, after the people leave. Maybe they remain upon the premise. Maybe they break in. You're going to process these burglary scenes the way you process crimes against property scenes. The majority of the evidence is found in the scene itself. The point of entry, how they get in, what did they use to get in. If they pried a door, that's evidence. Where they pried, how they pried. If they kicked a window, that's evidence. You can actually get a shoe print. If they kicked a door, if they pried a sliding glass door and got in, point of entry, good point to find evidence. Other areas, what they do once they were inside, what they touch, what they move, how did they get the property out. All of those things are crime scene items inside the crime scene. That's going to give you good evidence related to the burglary. With today's world, with Ring doorknob videos, with people having videos in their home, with people having videos outside capturing the neighbor's yard, with businesses putting video everywhere, obviously that is a great source of evidence related to your burglary. Is there video? Did we find these people coming and going, even if it wasn't on the victim's house, on the neighbor's house? Look for those things as an investigator. Start thinking crimes against property is, what is the crime scene telling me the video or the evidence is? That's where you get your starting point. A lot of burglaries are patterned crimes. Similar neighborhoods, similar houses, similar times of day. Looking for similar items to steal from inside. Once you start developing pattern crimes, you could start looking at the other crimes, trying to combine evidence from all of them to develop an idea of the suspects. That's always good evidence. Now, we can go deeper into it. We're not going to view those PowerPoints. Okay. Also, just a note. We are registering right now for fall semester. Here's my shameless plug. We're doing a criminology class. Okay, the study of why crimes are committed. We're doing an intro to intro to forensic science. It's similar to this class, except it's more science-based. We're going to do more of the hands-on scientific stuff based on the criminal investigations. And we're doing a corrections class. If you're going to get a 2-year degree in criminal justice through Front Range, this is one of our mandatory classes. So we're going to be running that in the fall. Also know that you have a assignment and a separate discussion for this week. See ya.